Welcome to this miles by foot tour of Washington Dulles International Airport, code IAD. Along with Reagan National, DCA, and Baltimore, BWI, Dulles is one of 3 airports that serves the capital region. Named for Eisenhower's first Secretary of State John Foster Dulles, it was built in the early 1960s as a ground-up, cutting-edge airport purpose-built for the jet age. Dulles today serves as a domestic and international hub for United Airlines, and it's a landmark destination for dozens of international carriers connecting their capitals to ours. This dual identity as a United hub and an international nexus gives Dulles a uniquely cosmopolitan feel, and today's guide covers the entire airport, Landside and Airside. If you like airport and aviation videos like these, please consider subscribing to Miles by Foot and commenting below about your experience here or questions about an upcoming visit. Dulles' size and complexity can be intimidating, and there's a lot to cover, so let's explore. IAD is located about 23 miles west of the National Mall in Washington, D.C., one of the most distant airports from its city in the United States, but it needs the room. Dulles has one of the largest public airfields in the country, 8 times larger than the much closer DCA. If you drop Dulles into the District of Columbia, it'd take up 15% of its land. Dulles features 2 large airside terminal buildings with A, B, C, and D gates, and an even more impressive landside terminal with 2 small departure halls attached containing H and Z gates. All gates are connected airside and in unique ways, but we'll come back to that. Dulles serves as a hub for United Airlines, serving more than 60 domestic destinations and 30 international destinations year-round. As with most hubs, you can find United flights in all terminals, but they tend to be localized in C and D gates, with regional flights found in low-numbered A gates and Z gates. The second midfield terminal building contains C and D gates, all of which serve United, so we'll start there. There are 23 C gates and 27 D gates in this terminal, 50 total. The terminal is 3/4 of a mile long, so it'll take you 15 to 20 minutes to cross it, and there aren't moving sidewalks. The terminal is densely packed with food, shopping, and other services, including Dulles' 4 United clubs found near gates C4, C7, C17, and D8. Across from the club at C17, you'll find the Polaris Lounge, available to international business and first-class passengers on United, and departing business class and first-class passengers on Star Alliance partners. More regional flights, those handled by United Express, are handled in A gates numbered 1 through 6 and some Z gates. These 6 gates are located across an elevated walkway in their own purpose-built departure hall. These gates, which are really 6 meeting points where you can walk across the tarmac to your plane, serve some of the smaller regional airports in the Mid-Atlantic, 8 of which are either in Virginia or within 150 miles of the airport. The closest destination that Dulles serves is Charlottesville, Virginia, code CHO, just 77 miles away, averaging just 22 minutes in the air. United's international service is extensive, reaching 30 destinations year-round as of July 2024, and even more seasonally. United flies to 10 destinations in Europe, 8 in the Caribbean, 3 in Africa, 2 in Central America, 1 in West Asia and 1 in East Asia, 2 each in Canada and Mexico, and 1 destination, Sao Paulo, in South America. Cape Town, South Africa is the most distant destination that the airport serves, at just under 8,000 miles as a matter of fact, a little aviation nerd humor there, more than 100 times farther than Charlottesville. Canadian flights can be found anywhere at Dulles, but nearly all other international services depart from C and D gates. Be sure to check the departure boards as always to make sure you and your flight don't get separated. The other large midfield terminal contains A and B gates, and they serve most of the airport's other airlines and nearly all international ones. The A gates are divided into gates 1 through 6, separated by an elevated walkway, which serves United Express, and gates A14 through A32, which serve international airlines. Located farther down the same departure hall to the west, you'll find the B gates, 13 international and 15 domestic, serving mostly international airlines, and towards the end, domestic carriers, including Delta, American, and Southwest. This departure hall is festooned with international flags roughly above the international gates, and state flags over the typically domestic gates. This is the core of non-United travel at IAD. complete with lots of food, plenty of shopping options, kids' play areas, and international lounges. Even the domestic gate areas are open and spacious, so there's often room to spread out. Dulles supports over 30 international carriers reaching nearly every corner of the globe, with several carriers serving multiple destinations in their home countries. Most carriers settle in on one gate and stay there reliably. As of July 2024, their assignments are here. If you're traveling internationally on one of these carriers, check the departure boards or ask your ticket agent to be sure they haven't changed on us. Dulles hosts 5 international lounges throughout the A and B gates, including lounges for British Airways, Air France-KLM, Lufthansa, Turkish, and Virgin Atlantic. Most lounges will honor a flight on a partner airline or other lounge membership, listed here. United International business and first-class travelers, for example, may use the Lufthansa or Turkish lounges, as United's own lounges are all the way in the C and D gates. At the western end of the terminal, the high-numbered B gates serve domestic carriers. Delta serves 6 of their hubs from Dulles, while American serves 2. Both have a bigger presence at DCA, closer to the district, and Southwest serves 2 hubs from Dulles, while BWI, just 45 miles away, is much busier. Alaska Airlines serves a respectable 4 destinations. Allegiant currently serves 5 destinations, though Austin and Nashville are set to end this fall. Even as non-hub airlines, domestic carriers still get to use one of the nicest international terminals in the country. In general, this terminal is top-notch for plane spotters and casual travelers, with lots of light, windows, space, and services to keep you comfortable while you wait. If we're not including the United Express's A gates, the terminal is about half a mile, about 12 to 15 minutes end to end. The last airside gates, H and Z, are attached to the Landside terminal, just past the TSA checkpoint. H gates serve local airlines, namely Southern Airways Express, a commuter turboprop airline which serves 5 destinations in neighboring states. They moved their hub here from BWI in 2021, and I was here the weekend they moved, where I flew to Pittsburgh via Morgantown, which you can watch here. Boarding here involves going down the stairs and taking a bus across the tarmac to your flight. The Z gates are across the hall from the H gates, and you can find United flights here, as well as flights on Air Canada, who connect Toronto and Vancouver year-round, and Montreal seasonally. So let's talk about getting around the airport, which turns out to be a pretty unique experience here at Dulles. IAD has not 1, but 2 people mover options, but neither is as straightforward as other airports, and both options don't go to the same places. First, Dulles has an underground people mover they call the Aerotrain, completed in 2010. Its main station is just past the TSA checkpoint before you get to the H and Z gates. The Aerotrain takes you to the A gates and then to the C gates if you go to the left, or to the B gates to the right. Arriving at the A gate stop, you'll go up to the central point between the international A gates, turn right for United Express gates, or left to access international gates. The stop for C gates are actually located well beyond the terminal, so you'll be backtracking along moving walkways before ascending to the C gates. If you go the other way from the main station and head to the B gates instead, you'll climb up from right below the gates, where you're treated to a solar-powered aircraft on display. So this means that if you're flying out of or arriving at a D gate, you will not use the Aerotrain. Luckily, Dulles has a unique solution that they call mobile lounges, or shuttles in some places, special vehicles that drive passengers across the tarmac between fixed stops at different terminals. The concept is original to the airport, the first of its kind, and one of the last systems like it in the world. The mobile lounges move along a route opposite that of the Aerotrain, starting at the United Express A gates, going to D gates, then around to the H and Z gates. You might notice that throughout the airport there are many more stops designed for these mobile lounges, but they've been phased out over time, and especially since the Aerotrain was finished about 15 years ago. Besides their practical purpose, moving you between distant gates, they also provide an excellent opportunity to see some of these long-haul aircraft from a unique perspective, which really puts them in scale. These lounges originally served a purpose as well to get passengers directly on and off the planes, and the plane-mate models of the lounge still do this, particularly for VIPs or conveying arriving international passengers to immigration. The mobile lounge shuttle is slower than the Aerotrain, as you might imagine, and you should allow an extra 15 to 20 minutes if your connection requires a trip on the mobile lounge. Think of it more like a ferry across water than a subway. Still beats walking. To sum up, here's a clearer map of both means of transport at Dulles. If you're arriving at Dulles on an international flight that's not pre-cleared, you'll exit your aircraft and clear customs and immigration, emerging at the baggage claim below the main Landside terminal. If you're arriving domestically, you'll take the Aerotrain or the mobile lounge, whichever is more convenient for you, to the main terminal or to the H and Z gates, respectively. Go upstairs from the Aerotrain or downstairs from the H and Z gates, cross above the trains if needed, and go up one last set of stairs to exit into the baggage claim. The baggage claims are organized by airline for non-international flights without pre-clearance, while international baggage is at Claim 15. Once you've collected your bags, you'll walk outside to ground transportation. Importantly, the baggage claim is also home to Dulles' USO Lounge, across from Claim 12, open to active duty and retired service members and their dependents. While there isn't a USO Lounge on the Airside, United clubs at Dulles are open to active duty service members with ID and a valid boarding pass within the next 24 hours and who are either in uniform or those who can produce their leave orders or their R&R papers on request. Before we go to ground transportation, I want to look at the most visually striking part of Dulles, and you should too, whether you're coming or going. Dulles' Landside terminal was designed by Finnish-American architect Eero Saarinen, who's also responsible for the Gateway Arch in St. Louis and the TWA Flight Center at JFK, a pioneer in bold singular designs that came to characterize the era. This building ceiling is designed to imitate the angle of a plane ascending in flight. The catenary concrete ceiling is suspended between two systems of supporting columns and cables, which leaves the inside open and free from lots of load-bearing columns. Though he passed away in 1961, 2 years before the terminal was finished, Saarinen was quoted as saying that it was the best thing he'd ever done. Many design elements inside retain that early 60s vibe too, from the typeface to the signage to the flooring. Don't laugh, but when I first came here 3 years ago, I thought of Spaceship Earth at Walt Disney World, and if you've been both places, I'm sure you could see it too. Practically though, the Landside terminal has a central bank of ticket desks, which are staffed on both sides by different airlines. Once you've checked in, there are 2 escalators that descend to the TSA checkpoint for screening. Both checkpoints exit near the Aerotrain station, so you can head off to your flight. To get to and from Dulles, you have a couple options, but the newest and most exciting, especially for a transit nerd like me, is the completion of the long-awaited Silver Line of the Washington Metro, allowing you to get on one train and ride it all 20-some miles to the center of Washington, D.C. The metro station is located above ground, but you can access it through a tunnel from the baggage claim. Follow the signs across from claims 5 and 6 or 11 and 12 to go down to the tunnels, filled with photos covering the airport's 60-year history and temporary displays too, making the underground walk a little more interesting. I'll cover the details of the Washington Metro and how to use it in an upcoming video. If someone you know is picking you up, go up the ramps across from the baggage claims to meet them. Traditional taxis are outside claims 1 through 4 and 13 through 15 in the first lane, at curbs 1A, B, G, and H. Rideshares like Uber and Lyft are the third lanes out, and they'll be marked curb 3C, D, E, and F. The second lanes, marked curb 2, are for hotel, parking, rental car shuttles, vans, and public buses. Local buses here cover Fairfax County, but the 983 service goes to the nearby Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center, an annex of the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. Like the Air and Space Museum on the Mall, the Udvar-Hazy is free and open to the public, and it features incredible aircraft from national and global aviation history, from the first decade of flight to the modern day, including the Enola Gay, the Space Shuttle Discovery, and an SR-71 Blackbird. There's an observation tower there too, where you can watch planes from Dulles arrive and depart. My dad and I visited 2 years ago, something we'd been talking about doing for years, and it was well worth the wait. The 983 service connects Dulles and the Udvar-Hazy every 60 minutes, or 30 minutes during peak travel times, and the trip takes about 30 minutes one way. The trip is $2 per adult or $1 for seniors each way. If you have a longer layover, maybe 4 hours or more, try checking out the Udvar-Hazy. Dulles is an historic airport, the first of its kind, built to handle the jets that now define air travel. Today, it serves many functions as a hub for United Airlines, as a critical international link in the global aviation network, and as a statement of design and the history of aviation generally. Those who designed and those who built the airport we see today were pioneers, a hallmark of the American spirit of innovation and progress. If you happen to find Dulles on your next itinerary, I hope you'll take a moment to appreciate its impressive facilities, its history, and the quirks of one of our country's most unique airports. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to Miles by Foot. I visit airports around the country and share my experiences and ways to help you find your way, whether you're a seasoned traveler connecting in a new airport or you're flying for the first time. Dulles is a massive airport and there's lots I didn't cover, so let me know in the comments if you have questions about IAD or if I missed something. The next video will be a complete, unnarrated walk of every gate at the airport and a walk of the entire Landside terminal as well, including a better view of its impressive design. Come back if you want to see something specific or if you want to get the look and feel of the airport firsthand. Until then, thanks for watching, and keep moving forward.